Hello, welcome back to my channel, InflightMuzik. My name is Ian, and today I'm proud to announce the very first day for the InflightMuzik 2020 Beat Battles. And if you're looking for more FL Studio and music production tips and tricks, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you are notified every time I make a new video. So if you tuned in to my live stream on Monday, you already know that we started the process for choosing our preliminary contestants for the InflightMuzik 2020 Beat Battle, and I went over the rules with you live on air, but I thought it would be best to also make a video for my tutorial channel here for the rest of my audience. But if you are someone that is interested in watching these live beat battles and being one of the contestants, click the link in the description where it says subscribe to my new live channel, and that will allow you to subscribe to InflightMuzik Live. And the way that this works, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. United States Eastern Time, many of you know I already do a live beat critique, but now at the beginning of each beat critique, I will be doing the preliminary battles where we will have 4 producers compete to battle for a slot in our main beat battle. So on Monday, we had producers submit their beats in the beat critique section of our Discord. There is also a sign up link down below to enter into our InflightMuzik Discord. The beat critiques that are submitted, I go in and listen to each of your beats, and from there I choose the top 6 beats that we heard in that critique. And then the following live session, we have those producers compete. And the way that this works, the top 4 producers will actually compete in the battle. The other 2 producers are selected as wildcards just in case anyone drops out or can't make it or gets disqualified for any reason. That way, no matter what, we're likely to have a backup in any of those situations. So on Monday, the best beats came from 8 AM, Sansa, Young BS, and Simo. And what we're gonna do later on today on the live beat channel, these 4 will compete in our first round of preliminaries for one of the 16 slots in our main beat battle. And if any of these producers can't make it, the best and Nemo will compete against each other for one of those slots. If for some reason 2 of these producers can't compete, then both the best and Nemo will take their spots. If for some reason you miss these live shows, no worries, because the following day I will post the replay where not only do I show the beat battle, but I also go over the beats that got them into the competition in the first place, along with their beat critiques. That way you guys have an idea of what it takes to be entered into this competition, which takes us to the beat battle rules. So we're judging on sound selection, mix, composition, arrangement, and artist marketability. Some of you might be familiar with the Battle of the Beatmakers. That's a competition in Toronto, Canada. It's actually just about 4 hours away from where I live currently. But every year they seem to have a little bit of controversy, but more so this year than any of the previous years. And it's due to the judging, because this year they have 2 producers that are a producer duo and 1 other producer that are the judges. And the problem with that is the producer duo has a very specific mindset and criteria on what they're judging the beats on that's totally different from the other producer. So different, in fact, the actual host of the show flat out asked each of the producers what the heck they're judging on, because the crowd couldn't figure it out, the producers couldn't figure it out, and even the judges seemed pretty confused. When asked, the producer duo basically said that they're just going off of a feeling. They're listening to whether or not they could hear an artist on the track. They were listening to whether or not there was enough space for an artist on the track. But when the host asked the third judge what he was judging on, he flat out said, I was just judging the best beat. So he didn't care about the future of the track. He didn't care about whether or not he could hear an artist on it. He was just thinking about production quality, how much better the overall production was, rather than whether or not the track was viable for a song. So I want to be 100% transparent with you with what I'm judging on and why and how. So a lot of times with those beat battles, you don't get to hear the judge say why they chose one beat or another. Usually they're just holding up a number and then they're moving on to the next beat. Here we're doing things very, very different. It's gonna go the way that a lot of my beat critiques go. You'll know exactly why one beat beat out the other, but I'm gonna break down each of these here for you right here, right now. So the very first criteria is sound selection. So we're thinking about the quality of the sounds. Do your sounds sound dated? Do they sound like they're from cheap or free VSTs? Or are these high quality sounds that sound like they're made for modern production? And that's not to say that you can't use old sounds, like say for example, a Mellotron, which is really popular nowadays. That's not what sound selection is about. It doesn't mean that you can't use cheap or free VSTs. You know that my entire YouTube channel focuses heavily on showing you guys how to use cheap and free VSTs in your music production. The thing is, with how much I've taught you guys and the sounds that I've shown you, you really have no excuse in terms of finding high quality sounds, whether the VST is free or cheap. Not to mention the additional techniques that I've shown you guys on how to make those sounds up to date for today's modern music production, which leads us into the mix. Maybe you're doing lo-fi. That doesn't mean that you can't have, that your mix has to be completely clean or pristine. Obviously, there are some genres and some techniques that require the opposite of that. But I personally am someone that listens to a lot of those other genres. So the thing is, you still have to avoid the technical errors. So when we talk about mix, we're still looking for a solid low end. We're still looking for whether or not each of the sounds have their own space in the mix. We're still looking for whether or not the levels are balanced and nicely spread throughout the stereo field. We don't want anything that's too wide or completely mono. We don't want anything that's too loud or too quiet. So balance is really what we're looking for in the mix when it comes to that category. From there, we're looking for depth. So your use of reverb, how far back certain sounds are positioned in the mix, how up front certain sounds are positioned in the mix. Do you have a nice three-dimensional sound? Is it over-compressed? All of those things will come into factor on whether or not your beat beats out the other beat. Next, we have composition. So now we're talking about your melodies, your chords, your harmonies, your counter melodies. Are you utilizing things like call and response? Or does it literally sound like just random melodies put together? Is everything tuned and in key? You'll definitely notice that all the producers that make it into the competition, I will be shocked if you hear anything that is out of key, because that is the number one thing that eliminates any producer from even getting into the preliminary. In fact, I could say all of these categories that I'm listing are things that all the producers that get into the preliminary already have down pat. So we're really listening to the best of the best from these beat critiques. These are producers that already have these pretty much well taken care of. So now we're just listening for who has the skill advantage over the next producer, which leads us to arrangement. This is where producers really set themselves apart in terms of creativity, because in arrangement, we're talking about things like automation, transition, effects. Does your track have change-ups, dropouts? Or does it get too monotonous? Does it bore us? Or does it have variables throughout the track that keep us interested? Having a great melody and chord progression is one thing, but it's what you do with it afterwards that really takes things to the next level. And then last but not least, we have artist marketability. So this is where we get into the whole controversy with the judges on Battle of the Beatmakers, because they have two completely different styles of judging when it comes to listening to these beats. So let me flat out say, I love producers that make flex beats. In fact, one of those producers is in this very first round of this preliminary round, which again airs tonight at 5 p.m. United States Eastern Time on my InflightMuzik live channel. Make sure you subscribe in the description below. But say you're battling a producer that checks off all these categories in terms of sound selection, mix, composition, and arrangement, just like you did in your flex beat, but they have room for an artist to get on the track and they created a nice little pocket for a rapper or a singer, but your track has 808 slides, crazy melodies, intense percussion that fill up the entire track. Well, the track with the artist's marketability is going to have the advantage over your track. Reason being, I really want to encourage you guys to start making more songs. There's nothing out there that will get you on the map more than having a hit song. As much as I love listening to flex type beats, there's a time and a place for them. I would say that even a beat battle is a time and a place for them, but at the end of the day, the reason why, for example, a Wonder Girl won Battle of the Beatmakers, not only did she have qualities of a flex type beat in terms of having great sound selection, great mix, great composition, and an awesome arrangement, but you could literally hear an artist being able to flow on her record and or for a singer to be able to write to that track. And that's why those beats will beat out a flex type beat every single time. On top of that, as soon as I started these live shows, it really surprised me how many artists we actually have listening to these beats. That being said, I want to give you guys an opportunity to shine, which is why I'm also going to be creating an edited video with the critiques of the contestants that got them into the preliminary rounds, along with the beat battle that we do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But those replays will be on my tutorial channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. That way you guys get even more exposure. The rules continue on with saying that the beats must be submitted before the next live session starts. So for these producers that were selected on Monday, like I said, I do these critiques every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the InflightMuzik live channel at 5 p.m. So they have until today at 5 p.m. to submit their beats. As soon as that competition starts, anyone that hasn't submitted their beat in time will be eliminated. And again, that's why we have 2 additional wildcards, just in case anyone doesn't make it. Those producers will take their spot. Next thing is, no copyrighted material is allowed. It's an automatic DQ if there is a copyright claim on either channel. So first, let me talk about using loops or samples. So I definitely encourage anyone to use loops or samples, especially if you're just getting started, because you can focus on getting better at drums by dragging in a melody loop, or you could get better at your melodies by dragging in a drum loop and just focusing in on your melodies. But I want to encourage the producers that watch this channel to get better at everything and not have to rely on someone else. That's not to say that you shouldn't collab with other producers. In fact, that's a great idea. But I want to give you the power to have the ability to make the most possible from your music. And if you're using someone else's music, that's just money out of your pocket and money out of the artist's pocket. So you absolutely can use royalty-free loops, samples, melodies, whatever, in this beat competition, but you have to have permission to use it. But let's say, for example, that you're up against someone that does have quality sound selection, quality mix, quality composition, arrangement, artist marketability, and you do as well. Well, the artist that made everything from scratch is going to beat you out. Just because, 1, they put in more work, 2, they're literally showing a wider range of skill, and 3, they actually have more artist marketability, because those type of tracks are a lot more attractive to labels, other producers, and of course the artists, in terms of how much profit they can make off of that track. I know that there's a lot of you that just do this for the love of making music. I would argue, if you really love making music, let's get back to making the music. So another situation could be that you copyrighted your own track through YouTube Content ID. Well, all you have to do, contact your YouTube Content ID copyright provider, which is usually something like Audium or Airbit or YouTube itself. Go into their system and just whitelist youtube.com/InflightMuzik and youtube.com/InflightMuzik Live. And plus, that gives you more exposure, because all copyright claims on my channel get edited out. Those get muted and or cut out of the video. So for example, I had a copyright claim on one of the beats from my beat critique on Monday. That section of the beat critique is no longer available to be seen on my channel. So that's less exposure for you guys. So I will know immediately after the video goes live, because the system is completely automated. I will know if the track was in violation of YouTube copyright, because not only do they notify me that there is a copyright claim, but it also notifies me exactly who it's from and the section of the video where it came from. So I will know exactly who's using copyrighted material and who isn't. So there's really no way around this. I really encourage you to make your beats from scratch, because even using a royalty-free loop isn't safe, because there are plenty of other producers that have that same exact loop, and they are highly likely to submit that on their YouTube channel and enter that into YouTube copyright ID, and now that is in violation of their copyright because they claimed it before you did. Which is why I have tutorials on how to manipulate loops, even if they're royalty-free, so that you don't get copyright claims on royalty-free loops, which happens every single day. Which again is another reason why the producer that made everything from scratch literally has an advantage over you, not just in taste or personal preference, but literally in terms of marketability and exposure, not just in the industry, but even right here on social media, here on YouTube. So I also go on down here to say that be sure to only submit beats that were not heard in any of the beat critiques. And I say that to encourage you to make a fresh beat. I feel like when you know that you're about to enter into a battle or a competition, you're gonna bring your A game versus just uploading something that you made a year ago or even a week ago. This is also why you only have 2 days to really get started on your beat and to submit that. So if you get critiqued on Monday and you are selected for the preliminaries, that means you have until Wednesday to submit your beat by 5 p.m. I feel like that evens the playing field in terms of figuring out who really is the better producer versus someone that takes a year to work on a track. I feel like the person that only took a couple days at most to finish a track is really proving something over the person that takes months and months to work on a track. So this will help eliminate some of that. So now let's get into prizes and rewards. So for anyone that does enter into the beat battle, if you are nominated for the preliminaries, any of those producers can DM me on Instagram or Twitter and get 50% off of any one of my kits. That's just a little bit of more incentive for people to hop on the live and start getting their beats critiqued, and 2, to make better beats for these beat critiques instead of just turning in whatever they have. But from those preliminary rounds, there's going to be 16 of those at the beginning of each beat critique, which happens every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. So this will take a little under a month and a half to complete the preliminary rounds. And from those 16 winners, we will have a Supreme 16 beat battle, and that's actually the main beat battle. From there, we will have a second and first place prize. As of right now, these are the bare minimums because I'm still working on getting some other guest judges that are bigger YouTubers, more known producers than I am. And if that happens, that means the prizes will get even better because we'll have more kits available for you and possibly bigger cash prizes. But as of right now, for second place, you get 1 free kit. Like I said, bare minimum. And for first place, you get 3 free kits and a one-on-one consultation. And because these take about a month and a half to get to the Supreme 16, that allows us to do 8 of these competitions throughout the year. So in 2020, we will have 8 official beat battles. And from those 8, at the end of the year, we will have an Elite 8 beat battle. And this is where the prizes get bigger. Again, these are the bare minimums. For third place, you get 2 kits, $25. Second place, 3 kits, $50. And first place, an all kits bundle with $100. And by the end of the year, I personally will have plenty more kits available for you guys to choose from. But on top of that, I've recently started directly working with some companies that I can't name quite yet, but you will definitely know about them very soon. But as those relationships build over this next year, I'm hoping by the time we reach the Elite 8 beat battle, I will be able to deliver some better prizes for you guys in terms of both software and hardware. These are the bare minimums if I'm doing this 100% solo out of my own pocket. But like I said, on top of just these prizes, you'll also be featured on my main tutorial channel, which is rapidly growing at the moment. So not only will you be seen live on the InflightMuzik live channel, you'll also be featured on the videos that I do on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So on the tutorial channel, we'll have a video coming out every day of the week except Sunday, and even sometimes Sunday. So in 2020, that channel is about to blow up, and having you as a producer featured in any one of those videos should get you quite a bit of exposure. And like I said, I was shocked to see how many artists are actually listening in and watching these live streams, to the point where I'm now coming out with not 1, but 2 EPs featuring around 20 artists that I found are highly talented. Dare I even say shockingly talented. And that list is still growing. So I definitely want to get some of the producers that watch this channel more involved with that. I don't personally plan on making every single beat for these EPs and the following LPs that I have coming up. I already have some producers in mind that I want to collaborate with for these specific artists, and these beat critiques and beat battles are a great way for me to discover more producers, more artists, and to make connections between all of you. Again, if you haven't already, sign up for the Discord, which is in the description below. That way you can submit beats to the beat critique, which happens every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m, following right after the beat battles. We also have a tips and tricks section, a collaboration section, self-promotion section, which I definitely want to point out, you can promote anything you want. I don't care if it's not even music related. You could promote your beats, your songs, your art, your photography, your videography, graphic design, web design, software programming. I don't care, whatever it is, feel free to take advantage of the self-promotion section and take advantage of the collaboration section so that you guys can put more of your work out there. When I first started my channel, everything was dedicated to just 100% helping you guys get better. And I feel like I've done that over the past year in terms of improving your overall level of production. But now I want to help you on the business side, because not too long after I started my channel, I already had companies contacting me. And now it's kind of coming to a head where I have some of the largest companies in the music production world contacting me. And I would love to get you guys involved to where one day I can say I helped that one producer just from my videos on my YouTube channel. I would love it even more if I didn't even realize it and I met a producer in the future that then turns around and says, hey, I used to watch your videos, they helped me out to get to where I'm at. That was absolutely the point of me starting my tutorial channel. In fact, you'll notice that over the entire first year that I started my channel, I sold literally nothing to you. Every kit, every MIDI pack, every loop, every sample, every single thing that I dropped, I gave to you for free. And that's what I want to do with this beat battle. It costs you absolutely nothing to compete and get more exposure. And if you're good at what you do, you're absolutely going to get rewarded for it, not just directly through these rewards and prizes, but hopefully also through the connections and exposure that you build up over 2020. I wish you all the best. If you have any questions, drop me a comment down below. And if you watch my tutorial channel, you already know that I literally read every single comment and I respond to every single question as well. And last but not least, drop a like for this video so that you guys get even more exposure for these future beat battles. The more people that we have hopping into these beat critiques, hopping into the Discord, joining the live sessions, the more exposure that you guys get, the more people you can collab with, and the more attention we get from artists to watch these channels, which increases the likelihood that you find an artist for yourself where you can start making your own songs, EPs and LPs, and any future music projects that you have in mind for your future. Again, we go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. We do live tutorials every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. I will have the live replays every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday here on the tutorial channel. So be sure to subscribe not only to this channel, youtube.com/InflightMuzik, but also my live channel, youtube.com/InflightMuzik Live. Both links are in the description below to subscribe, along with the Discord link. And I will see you guys tonight at 5 p.m. on the live channel. Peace.